I've lived here for over 20 years. I've watched a change. I've watched people move here thrilled, and I've watched people move here and figure out within 6 months that they didn't actually understand what they were choosing. The difference almost always comes down to the same few things. And nobody in a relocation video is going to tell you what those things are, because most of those videos are trying to sell you on a place instead of actually preparing you for it. So today, I'm going to do the thing I do with every client I actually sit down with. I'm going to tell you what I would want to know before I moved here. Here's what most people think when they hear Long Beach. It's near LA, it's on the water, the weather's nice. It's probably a little bit more affordable than the West Side. And honestly, it's not wrong, but it is about 20% of the picture. The people who land here and absolutely love it, and I've watched a lot of them, they came in understanding a few specific things that changed how they evaluated everything. The neighborhoods, the commute, the lifestyle, the price they paid, and what they were actually getting for it. The people who struggle, and I've watched those too, they came in with a postcard version of the city and they got surprised by the real one. I've been a Long Beach resident for over 20 years. I moved here, I stayed here, I raised my life here, and I work in real estate here full time, so I see both sides of this constantly. Today, I want to give you the real version. Here's what we're covering. Why Long Beach isn't one place and why that matters more than anything else when you're choosing where to live. The commute reality, what it actually looks like depending on where in the city you land. The thing about the weather that nobody puts in the brochure. What I've watched happen to this market over 2 decades and what that tells you about buying here versus waiting. And the lifestyle unlock that most people don't factor in until after they've already moved here and realized they stumbled into something. Let's get into it. I'm Beatrix Whipple, owner of the Whipple Group, longtime Long Beach resident, realtor, athlete, and sourdough enthusiast. If you want to learn more about Long Beach and what it's actually happening in our real estate market, make sure to hit subscribe. Real quick, if you're in the research phase of a potential move to Long Beach and you want something more comprehensive than a YouTube video can give you, I put together a free Long Beach relocation guide. It covers neighborhoods, market data, what the absorption rate is actually doing right now, and how to think about price points across different parts of the city. The link is in the description. Grab it. It's going to add a lot of context to everything I'm about to walk through. The single biggest mistake I see people make before moving to Long Beach is treating it like it's a single destination. It's not. Long Beach is a collection of genuinely distinct neighborhoods that feel completely different from each other. Different price points, different architecture, different energy, different access to freeways and the water and the city. Belmont Shore is walkable, beachy, dense, social. The streets are narrow, the houses are close together. You're walking to brunch and bumping into your neighbors constantly. If you want that kind of embedded neighborhood life, it delivers. Bixby Knolls is completely different. It's tree-lined, quieter, more residential. Craftsman and Spanish-style homes, a real Main Street corridor with local restaurants and shops. It draws a different kind of buyer, people who want space, character, and a neighborhood that feels like it has roots. Belmont Heights sits between these two worlds. Historically significant architecture, walkable to the shore without being inside of it, and some of the most beautiful residential blocks in the entire city. Naples is on water, actual canals, a different category of living. And then you have the corridors closer to the 710 and the port. Different price point, different trade-offs, different reasons to be there. Here's why this matters more before you ever set foot in a property. If you don't know which Long Beach you're looking for, you'll end up touring homes all over the city and feeling confused about why nothing feels right. You're not confused about Long Beach. You're confused about which neighborhood is actually your Long Beach. That one reframe changes the entire search. Now, here's the layer that most people only discover after they've already moved, and it affects every single decision that comes after where you live. Long Beach has a reputation for being close to everything in LA, and it is, conditionally. The 710 connects you directly to downtown LA and the 10 interchange. The 405 runs through the northwest part of the city. On paper, you're 25 minutes from a lot of things. In practice, where you live within Long Beach makes a meaningful difference in what your commute actually looks like. If you're in the northwest part of the city, closer to the 405, closer to Lakewood, you have options. You can move around. If you're in the southeast, in the Shore or Naples, you're in a beautiful area and you're a little more tucked away. Getting to the 405 takes longer. The 710 is your main artery, and the 710 has its moments. This isn't a reason to avoid those areas. Plenty of people make that trade happily, and they would tell you the lifestyle is worth every minute of it. But it is something to model before you commit to a neighborhood rather than after. I always tell clients, drive your actual commute, at your actual commute time, from the actual neighborhood you're considering, not Google Maps estimated, the real thing. Do it once, and it'll tell you everything you need to know. The weather's next, and this one surprises almost everyone who moves here from out of state. Southern California weather is real. Long Beach gets more sunny days per year than most of the country. But there's something called the marine layer, and if you're not from the coast, you may not know what you're signing up for. From roughly May through July, and sometimes into August, the coast gets a thick morning overcast that burns off. Usually by noon, sometimes by 2, occasionally not at all. Locals call it June gloom. If you're coming from somewhere that's genuinely cold and gray, you may not even notice. If you're coming from somewhere with dry, bright mornings, Phoenix, Denver, Austin, and you're expecting the same energy on the coast, the marine layer can catch people off guard in those first few months. It's not bad weather, it's coastal weather. There's a difference. And here's the flip side. That same marine layer is why Long Beach is measurably cooler in summer than inland LA. When Pasadena is at 104 degrees in August, Long Beach is at 78. The ocean air conditioning is real. Once people understand the trade, they almost always decide they prefer it. But knowing it exists before you move here is better than being surprised by gray skies in June and wondering if you made a mistake. Now here's the one I want to spend the most time on because it's the thing that I have a genuinely different perspective on than almost anyone else you will hear from. And it's the piece that matters most if you're thinking about buying here. I've watched this market go through multiple cycles. I was here before the run-up. I was here through 2008. I was here through the recovery. I was here through the acceleration that started around 2012 and didn't really stop. I was here through the pandemic distortion and what came after that. And here's what 20 years of watching one market teaches you that no data set can fully capture. Long Beach doesn't correct like other markets. When things soften nationally, as they do, rates go up, buyers pull back, headlines get scary. Long Beach softens at the edges, days on market tick up, concessions come back, but the floor holds. It has held every single time I've watched it tested. Why? Supply. This city is built out. Established neighborhoods like Belmont Shore and Bixby Knolls, they're not adding inventory. The lots aren't getting bigger. The coastal premium is structural, not cyclical. And demand doesn't disappear. The Port of Long Beach drives consistent economic activity in this region. The proximity to LA creates a permanent pool of buyers who want the lifestyle without the West Side price. That demand isn't going away. What I've watched is this. The buyers who did well in Long Beach were almost never the ones who timed it perfectly. They were the ones who bought something fundamentally sound, held it, and let the markets do what Long Beach markets do over time. The buyers I've watched struggle are the ones who waited for the perfect moment. Lower rates, lower prices, less competition, and kept waiting while the floor moved up underneath them. I'm not telling you the market only goes up. I'm telling you that in over 20 years in the specific city, the people who bought with conviction and held with patience came out ahead, consistently. This isn't a sales pitch. That's just what I've seen with my own eyes. And then there's one more thing, and this is the one that people always say they wish someone had told them before they moved here rather than after. When people research Long Beach, they focus on real estate. What they don't fully price in until they're living here is what the city actually unlocks in terms of how you spend your time. The Aquarium of the Pacific, the Queen Mary, a working waterfront that's generally interesting to be around, cycling infrastructure that lets you get from one end of the city to the other on a beach path, a restaurant and a bar scene in Belmont Shore and Retro Row and Bixby Knolls that punches well above its size, the LA Marathon, the Grand Prix, the Pride Festival, a real civic calendar, and underneath it all, an ocean. Accessible, not theoretical. I've had clients move here from landlocked cities who told me 6 months in that they had not fully understood what it meant to live 15 minutes from the water until they were actually doing it on a Tuesday evening after work. This isn't a selling point I manufacture. This is something that people discover and then they tell me about it. It matters for quality of life. It matters for how you feel about where you live. And it matters for long-term demand because the people who discover it tend to stay. If you're seriously considering Long Beach and you want a real picture of the market, what neighborhoods fit what budgets, what the absorption rate looks like right now, and how to actually approach a search in this city, reach out directly. I work with buyers and sellers all over Long Beach, and I personally respond. Or grab the free Long Beach relocation guide in the description. It's built specifically for people in exactly the research phase you are in right now. Here's where I'll leave you. Long Beach rewards people who come prepared, who understand what they're choosing, not just the address, but the neighborhood, the commute, the market context, and the lifestyle that comes with it. The people who land here and love it are almost never the ones who got lucky. They're the ones who did the work, understood the trade-offs, and made a decision grounded in real information and moved with conviction. If you're still doing your research, grab the free Long Beach relocation guide in the description. Everything you need to think clearly about this market is in there. If you're ready to talk, reach out directly. I personally respond. Hit subscribe. Real numbers, real market, no noise. I'll see you in the next one.